You are a journalist. You have spent weeks in one of the worst famines in human history. You have seen so much suffering that you have stopped feeling it. And then one man, one unnamed, dying man, smiles at you. And in that moment, everything you thought you knew about your job falls apart. That is the moment at the center of George Alagiah's A Passage to Africa. And the way he writes about it is some of the most technically brilliant non-fiction prose on the IGCSE paper. In this video I am going to break down 3 of the most powerful techniques in this text and give you complete peel paragraphs you can screenshot and take straight into your exam. I will also tell you where to get the full study pack with every technique, the full model answer, and everything else you need. This text is not easy, but by the end of this video, you will know exactly what to say about it. Let's go. Technique number 1. Imagery. And in this text it is deliberately, uncomfortably graphic. Alagiah describes an old woman whose wound had been festering. And then he writes, "It was rotting. She was rotting." Just 6 words split across 2 sentences. Let me show you exactly what is happening here. The first sentence describes the wound. The second sentence describes the woman. But the verb is the same, rotting, applied first to a physical injury and then to a living human being. That repetition is doing something very specific. It blurs the line between her wound and her body. Between her body and death. She is not dying. She is already becoming part of the decay around her. The language makes her body and her death one and the same thing. Now, most students read that and write, "The imagery is shocking and makes the reader feel sad." That gets you 3 marks. Here is how you get 8. Ask yourself, why does Alagiah use language this graphic? He actually tells you in the text. He admits that he and other journalists had become desensitized, they had seen so much suffering that they stopped truly feeling it. The graphic imagery is his response to that. He is writing with a deliberate intensity because he knows his readers are also at risk of becoming numb. He is trying to break through their defenses the same way the reality of Somalia broke through his. Here is your peel paragraph. Point. Alagiah uses graphic, visceral imagery to force the reader to confront the physical reality of famine. Evidence. He writes of an old woman, "It was rotting, she was rotting." Explain. The repetition of the verb rotting, applied first to a wound and then to the woman herself, deliberately blurs the line between her injury and her body, and between her body and death. The reader cannot remain detached. The image is designed to break through the desensitization Alagiah openly confesses to experiencing himself. If journalists can become numb, so can readers, and the graphic precision of the language is his defense against that. Link. This shows Alagiah's purpose is to move the reader, to make them feel what statistics and news reports never could, and to ensure that these people are remembered as individuals, not numbers. That is a top-mark paragraph. Imagery. 6 words. An entire argument. Technique 2. Simile. And this one is extraordinary, because Alagiah uses it to criticize himself. He writes, "The search for the shocking is like the craving for a drug." Read that again. A journalist. Writing about his own profession. Comparing the media's hunger for dramatic, disturbing images to drug addiction. Let that sit for a moment. Now let's break it down properly. What do drugs and the media have in common? Both become compulsive. Both are self-destructive in large doses. And crucially, both require bigger and bigger amounts to have the same effect. A drug addict needs more over time to feel the same high. And a journalist, Alagiah is arguing, needs more and more extreme suffering to feel the same jolt of drama. Think about what that means. If journalists need increasingly shocking images to keep their audiences interested, then the people in those images stop being human beings. They become content. They become the dose. And here is the most remarkable thing about this simile. Alagiah is not pointing this criticism at other journalists. He is pointing it at himself. He has just admitted in the lines before this that the suffering around him had stopped affecting him. He is the addict. He is confessing. That kind of self-critical honesty is rare. And it is exactly what makes this text so powerful. Here is your peel. Point. Alagiah uses a simile to expose the troubling nature of war journalism, including his own role within it. Evidence. He writes that the search for the shocking is like the craving for a drug. Explain. The comparison between the media's hunger for dramatic images and addiction is deliberately uncomfortable. Both are compulsive and self-destructive, and both require increasing doses to achieve the same effect. By applying this simile to his own profession and, implicitly, to himself, Alagiah demonstrates a remarkable willingness to self-criticize. The reader is made to question whether news coverage of conflict truly serves the public or feeds a darker appetite for drama. Link. This shows Alagiah's purpose is to challenge, not just to inform the reader about Somalia, but to force them to examine the ethics of how suffering is reported and consumed. The simile implicates the reader alongside the journalist. Did you catch that last point? The simile implicates the reader too. We watch the news. We consume those images. Alagiah is talking about us as well as himself. That is the kind of sophisticated insight that pushes you into the top band. Technique 3. The rule of 3. But not the way you usually see it. Alagiah describes the death of a child. And this is what he writes. No rage. No whimpering. Just a passing away. 3 sentences. 3 short, flat, stripped-back sentences. And together they are devastating. Let me show you exactly why. First, look at what is not there. No rage. No whimpering. Alagiah begins with 2 negatives. He tells us what this death was not. No anger. No protest. No crying. All the things we associate with death, the emotion, the drama, the noise, are removed. And then the 3rd sentence. Just a passing away. That phrase is extraordinary. Passing away is a gentle euphemism, the kind of phrase people use to soften the blow of death. But here it does the opposite. Because by the time we reach it, after the 2 negatives, the gentleness feels wrong. This child deserved rage. This child deserved to be mourned loudly. And instead, just a passing away. Like a breeze. Like nothing. And the structure reinforces this. 3 short sentences. No elaboration. No emotion from the writer. The language mirrors what Alagiah has just told us, that journalists become desensitized. He is writing about a child's death in the same flat tone he says journalists used to report atrocities. But here is the twist. That flatness, that deliberate understatement, is more devastating than any amount of dramatic language. By saying less, Alagiah makes the reader feel more. Your Peel paragraph. Point. Alagiah uses a rule of 3 and deliberate understatement to describe a child's death with devastating simplicity. Evidence. He writes, no rage. No whimpering. Just a passing away. Explain. The tricolon strips away everything we might expect from death: emotion, protest, drama, and replaces it with silence. The final phrase, just a passing away, is a gentle euphemism that feels horrifying in context, because this child deserved to be mourned loudly. The flat, journalistic tone of the sentences mirrors the desensitization Alagiah has described in himself, and this creates a powerful contrast. The less emotion he shows, the more the reader feels. Link. This shows Alagiah's purpose is to move the reader. By choosing understatement rather than dramatic language, he ensures that the reader provides the grief that the sentence itself withholds. The technique forces emotional engagement. 3 techniques. 3 complete paragraphs. Now let me show you what is in the full study pack.